39 seconds of logos. Discovery. This unwelcome vomit of CG shows us a series of creatures going from predator to prey because the biggest complaint of the first movie was that it never explained how the food chain works. Oh, they dragged poor Roberta into this mess. The deep end of this beach is absurdly deep and absurdly close to shore. Thank God we have this present day title to remind us when we are, because I hear that Jason Statham's famous for hanging around in the fucking Cretaceous period doing pull-ups. Jonas would have felt very stupid if his container had been stacked in the middle somewhere, and even more stupid had his container fallen overboard. Seriously, an average of around 1,500 of these things have been lost at sea every year since 2008. That is why you never got those silk pajamas you ordered with the little rubber duckies on them. Once you notice none of these guys paying any mind to the CG, gaps between the containers, you can't unsee it.
It's like a green James Bond. I like it.
You can tell us that as many times as you want, but we still won't buy it. He doesn't even have a special drink.
Opening hatch.
There are aerial firefighting planes. They do scoop up water, but this is still some insane bullshit that is less believable than Jonas swimming the 200 miles to shore. How do they even know he's in the fucking plane? How did Meg 2 the Trent realize that kicky exosuits were one of the top 3 things I wanted to see in my Meg sequel? It's right up there with footage of an octopus colonoscopy and not getting a Meg sequel at all.
Can't wait to use this in the trench.
Yeah, those naturally occurring concrete blocks at the bottom of the ocean won't know what hit them. Science is fun. Killing off one of the best parts of your first movie before your second movie has a chance to waste them.
我把父亲的研究所和我的万明精灵公司合并。
Shark movies that open with corporate mergers. I am pumped!
我想向大家介绍一位真正的大美女。
Seems like an impressive reveal, until you see the vantage point of this shark fin and you realize no one can see it.
We have been able to create the technology to pass through the thermocline, a thermal layer of freezing cold water that separates Haichi's world from ours.
This franchise treats this thermocline as if it's the only thermocline that matters. Like when people refer to the city or the industry. Lakes have a thermocline too, motherfucker. And you don't need this fancy sub to get to the bottom of Lake Erie.
Too dangerous for you.
But not dangerous.
In psychology, they call that cognitive dissonance.
This is what happens when you combine kids and reading.
You need to start taking me seriously as a scientist.
That would be easier if there was any attempt to make this statement semi-plausible by showing her doing science instead of just being in need of rescue for pretty much the entire movie.
Why are you swimming with the Meg, Jumeng?
I'm conducting an experiment.
No, you are dicking around under the guise of science and it's fucking annoying.
A Meg is not trainable, Jumeng. But if you wanna be eaten in front of your niece, go ahead.
I don't give a if you have a character acknowledge it. How am I supposed to give a about Zhu Ming when he's pulling stunts like this in front of his niece? A niece who, by the way, has already prematurely lost a grandfather and a mother.
$50 says this is gonna end badly.
I'll take that action.
This can't be dangerous and cute at the same time. Pick a lane, movie. He will fumble with this thing a bunch. Then it will save his life, and we will never know what the it was. Editing f***ery that makes me think a character I don't care about has died so that they can suddenly reappear and I can continue to not care about them. High Cheese escape looked so easy that I'm not so much impressed by the shark as I am underwhelmed by the humans who thought this aquarium could contain her.
What's with all these toys you've hanging around your console, Lance?
They're not toys, they're figurines.
They are definitely toys, Lance.
We are a close-knit crew, and you can tell by the way we playfully mock each other. Science with friends is fun.
Jonas, can you confirm O2 levels?
Consumption is 11% over mission spec.
So they can detect that the oxygen levels are being consumed too quickly, but they can't tell that the sub is overweight by approximately one irritating 14-year-old?
Rodriguez is nervous.
More like you're a mouth breather.
Let's just dismiss the fact that we're missing some f***ing oxygen, shall we? I'm sure this witty banter will sustain us when we're gasping for air.
But I don't see what the problem is.
The problem is how desperate this movie is to have you on this sub and the hoops it's willing to jump through to make it plausible.
We've got company.
Guys, it's a Meg.
What luck! Mei Ying decided to reveal herself at the same time the escaped Meg did. I hope they're working together, because the coincidences in this movie should not be less believable than the Megalodon premise itself.
Charging the predator countermeasures.
We'll be dead before they're online.
If that's true, how are they ever useful? And why does Zhu Ming keep referencing them as one of the reasons this mission is safe?
Careful, you don't want to burn out the engines.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna break the pretty toys.
I think she's less worried about the pretty toys breaking and more worried about them being the thing keeping you alive, you unnecessarily sarcastic drama martyr.
That's gotta be the apex predator.
Apex predator cliche for the billionth time this decade.
We have to see what they're up to.
And what about Mei Ying?
Right now, we are perfectly safe.
If I see anything dangerous, I'm pulling the plug.
If so that ship has sailed, taken a wrong turn, and has just been devoured by a pissed-off megalodon. You are choosing to put this 14-year-old at risk. She should not be here, Jason.
This is an exploration mission.
Let's explore.
Ju-Ming thinks he's on Sequest's Strange New Worlds.
This some dumbass mark my words.
Don't worry, character who I was convinced died in the last movie. This is just the first level of dumb. There are many, many more levels of dumb to come before we hit this movie's thermocline of dumbassery.
Where are we going now?
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown! Hey, how does she do that?
Looks like she's circling.
Said me to the plot of this movie.
It's some instinctual gathering.
Dragging this out when we all know it's sharks f***ing. It's always sharks f***ing.
Oh, great. More Megs.
Said me when the first movie did well at the box office.
Some kind of seafloor station.
So when Jonas said,
If I see anything dangerous, I'm pulling the plug.
he meant unless it's a surprise seafloor station clearly up to some shady shit.
Zoom in for 100%.
Zoom and being too lazy to enhance cliche.
Landslide!
You are in a closed container, sir. There was no need for this yelling.
I can't get ahead of it. I'm gonna have to go through.
I'm sure some exciting shit is going on right now, but I'll be f***ed if I can describe it as anything other than dark and red. This footage of the insides of the subs is too calm for all the bullshit we see them doing in the next shot. Whoever designed this propeller with so much goddamn cable that when it detaches, it automatically becomes an anchor to goose the tension and temporarily hold it in place.
Jonas, we can't get to you.
We're gonna walk back across the trench and make it into that seafloor station.
This we only have one impossible chance of survival cliche is brought to you exclusively by these experimental ex machina exosuits and their conveniently timed maiden voyage. According to these instructions, the first step is push button to activate system, which he skips over because he's a key-turning fool. And then step 3 is key in seconds to detonate, during which he enters 1865, which is something like 30 minutes. However, only 5 seconds show up on the clock. It's hard to tell if Jonas doesn't know how to operate this thing or if this thing doesn't know how to be operated. Before, they had to turn on those hideous red lights because the white lights attracted Megs. So why would you ever put these white lights on the dive suits? Sure, later they'll bring up some bullshit about bioluminescence providing cover, which is just a complicated way of saying that having them bathed in that hideous red light for another half an hour would have made this whole film-going experience more unpleasant than it already is.
Hey, whoa!
The fact that they're talking on the radio right now means that Ju-Ming chose to walk all the way over here in silence so that he could tap Jonas on the shoulder, give us a jump scare, and potentially get shot in the face.
What the hell are you doing?
Saving your ass. And walking back to that station. What are you doing?
Saving your ass. I'm walking back to that station.
Neither of them explains how they're going to measure their dicks when they get there.
Look at this. It's beautiful.
Don't you dare drift this wreck into James Cameron's The Meg movie. I will abandon ship, which for the purposes of this metaphor means extra sins.
No touching stuff.
Is the thing that has to be told to this professional diver slash marine biologist slash disposable Meg fodder.
Is it just me? Or does walking 3 kilometers underwater sound like hard work?
Try watching it. Also, this is a lot of chatter for people worried about conserving oxygen. Don't expect me to care later when it becomes a thing you are suddenly concerned about.
Regis, cover our 6. Shoot anything that moves.
You just walk through a consortium of octopuses, so this is either an unfollowable order or we're about to see a f***ing massacre and find out these guys were the villains all along.
Let's keep our lights on low spectrum.
You mean we're going to have even less visibility for part of the movie? That's impressive and irritating in unequal measure. And I think you can guess which way the scales are tipping.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
The level of concern he has for this person, in contrast to the level of he has for his also present niece, is offensive. We saw this suit destroy a 200-kilogram weight earlier, and now it can't handle whatever these water crocs are? Was this suit even designed for the trench?
The panic suit is so!
You weren't even supposed to be here today. Seems some expense may have been spared on these CG sharks.
Ju-Ming!
There's no choice.
You really want to die, don't you?
It was smart to shoot the flare instead of holding it and dying by shark. But it was dumb to shoot it at the structure you have to run underneath, making the whole mess of bullshit to follow all your fault because you couldn't point that thing in the opposite direction. I suppose we're just going to gloss over the fact that the hatch to this secret sub is unlocked and that this keypad is apparently just decorative.
It's gonna implode. Depressurize the room. It's gonna fail.
Curtis's mask waits until the last possible second to fail, and I assume it was just enjoying the tension like the scuba masochist it was born to be. Does the Meg know the door is closed, and that means it's a wrap for this scene? I'm not going to get into the numbers because I don't know them, but regular divers have to take hours to gradually decompress, so I can't even imagine how long you would need to decompress at 25,000 feet below sea level. Having said that, I'm willing to gamble 15 cents that it's a ton longer than we see here or at any of the multiple points we see people submerge and resurface.
Divers.
Knowing someone's profession by their body odor.
Rare earth metals.
They're used in superconductors, aerospace, and quantum computing.
This box alone
could be $1 billion.
That's an impressively specific amount of exposition from a few seconds of eyeballing the magic rock.
Billion with a B?
No, billion with a haven't we had this villain's plan in a billion other movies already. Was your big look at how smart the 14-year-old is moment really worth them potentially losing their fingers, Mei Ying?
Jonas, now that I have you here, we need to talk candidly.
Villain needs to villain reveal, even though this is a situation where anonymity seems much more valuable. Also, shock! Jess is the traitor, and we know this because she has now removed her glasses. But also, this doesn't really make any fucking sense. If she was the bad guy all along, why didn't she warn her bosses that Jonas and his team were headed to the base? It's almost as if she didn't realize she was on the bad guy's team yet.
Take that spear gun and shoot Jonas in the heart.
Wait, that's a harpoon gun? I thought it was a gun. Why do they need to fire many harpoons? That's so impractical.
Your institute will be a platform that we use
to plunder the ocean for decades.
Hear me out. Do the bad guys even need to be bad guys here? If they found a way to mine this stuff without blowing up the trench, would there even be an issue? They aren't overfishing, they aren't over-harvesting whale dicks, and they aren't displacing the Na'vi. If they stop using bombs and sabotage, then isn't this a legit mining operation? Also, if Hollywood likes this as a villain premise so much, then why the haven't we had a Captain Planet movie yet?
Water doesn't compress under pressure, so if he can force water into sinus cavities, he could survive 30, maybe 60 seconds before he passes out.
Yep, sounds like... Text notes. Some other bullshit.
It's about air. It reacts under pressure. And that's why he has to blow it out of his sinuses.
What about his lungs? Or what if he has a fart in his butt? If you're gonna get into the details, you gotta really get in there and explain some shit.
I spent 2 years in a Manila prison after you and your eco-freak buddies had our ship seized.
Luckily for Jonas, Montez's revenge boner was at the perfect magnitude to prevent him from killing Jonas while he was unconscious so that he could explain why he wanted to kill him. You weren't even supposed to be here today! It's weird that they all just lay there until Jonas comes over and says it's okay to get up. Okay, probably the first time this ever happened on screen, the idea was that someone had lost consciousness because of lack of air. Somewhere along the line, movies just started going with some water in your lungs equals momentary sleep.
Light up the station. The Max will attack it.
He rushes off to turn on the lights, not even considering the repairs that they have to do or the time it will take to do them. And even though he will turn them on immediately, the sub will be ready to go without any coordination of these efforts.
That was close.
Wait for it.
Too close.
There it is.
Explosives. Check this out.
Why not just hang a big sign on the box that says these will be used later in the film? Yes, this grown-ass adult who Jonas trusts with his life on deadly-ass missions just ran face-first into friendly fire pepper spray.
Check this out. Come here, baby. Come here. Bam.
Hey, asshole, if you've got a gun in your bag, why were a taser and pepper spray your initial weapons of choice?
但我相信你们听不懂中文，我说那么多中文，因为你们听不懂，为了吸引你们的注意力，因为我的朋友们要背后袭击你们。
But was there any need to put Juming at risk? Doesn't this work just as well if Jonas jumps out without the distraction? This just feels like adding an unneeded potential casualty to the plan, especially since Jonas doesn't attack until after all the Chinese speaking is done. This guy's seemingly knocked unconscious by DJ sitting on his back.
What are you doing here?
Oh, these two are a couple? It seems weird and unnecessary, but on the upside, it almost certainly means one of them is about to die.
Oh my god.
I know, right? These hair buns have been through a lot and still look pristine.
I was also thinking...
Listen here, you can't discount Deep Blue Sea your way to me enjoying your movie. I refuse to accept this level of cross-cinematic comedic osmosis.
This feels unpleasantly familiar.
Sequels.
I just hope it goes better than last time.
What happened last time?
You don't want to know.
How does he not already know? His fucking father died. It's what started all this Megalodon business. How does he not know? How?
He ate him. He ate the whole boat.
This is surprising to you? We have 3 perpetually hungry Megs, and all it takes is this light appetizer of the guys in the other small boat to make it safe for them to use the engine now.
We have to find a way to warn people in case the Mags move towards land.
And with less than 30 minutes to go, we finally arrive at what this fucking movie should have been all along, a Stop the Megs adventure, instead of a Stop the Eco-Terrorist Evil Mining Operation double-crossing bullshit adventure that we've been given so far. And the fact that we abandoned the mining plot so quickly makes me think the movie probably agrees with me. These people are parasailing wildly close to shore, other boats, and this deck thing.
And I'll spa to die for.
The unfathomably coincidental bullshit return of this lady and her survives this dog.
What are they running from?
Firstly, dumbass extra number 2, they're swimming, not running. And secondly, why would you assume they're running from anything? Why can't they just be a pod of dolphins hanging out and being more intelligent than you? The movie thinks we would have taken issue with seeing these people get eaten without first establishing what they think fun looks like. I assure you, we would sleep well either way.
I'm sitting in paradise, and you are ruining it. Who does that? Who
ruins paradise for other people.
It's funny because he's doing that exact thing he's complaining about. Laugh, you fools.
Hey, baby. Wanna rub some oil on my back? No? How about my front?
Discount Jack Nicholson was born with the explicit purpose of giving us a reason to root for the Meg, and that seems unfair to all the fictional people he's pissed off in his life. Also unnecessary because I've been rooting for the Meg since 2018. These measurements on screen don't matter even a little bit. Okay, what the how the f did she get swiped without anyone on the boat hearing it or seeing it? And more importantly, why would the sea monster give a flying shit about being stealthy?
What is that?
That would be the movie, deliberately or otherwise, taking the what if dinosaurs were among us premise and ruining it more systematically than Jurassic World Dominion's already impressive attempt. Swimming past all these perfectly tasty people so you can eat wood.
Condoms.
Different kind of emergencies.
Cute, but the only people getting f***ed around here are the ones that enjoyed the first movie. Thinking a sudden jet ski barrel roll is cool enough to put in your movie and then showing little to none of said barrel roll. Come on! Luckily, Jonas picked up one of those jet skis with a nick of time ignition.
Up against the wall. Hands up!
I wouldn't point that at me if I were you. Trust me.
I get that DJ has been through some self-defense training since the last movie, but this level of confidence suggests he also found a way to become bulletproof. Of all the things this movie could have gone hard with, a big-ass propane tank explosion was one of them, so it's odd that this one barely scratched that building. The weight distribution on these boomsticks should not let them fly as straight as they do. Most creators see jumping the shark as a cautionary tale, not a goal. When he hopped on the jet ski, Jonas only had 3 spears, so it's super weird that the 2 he already used appear to have magically respawned on his back. Rumor has it Tom Cruise was on set to do this stunt, but refused when he found out he wouldn't be working with actual dinosaurs. Nope. Also nope, but more. Surprise! You thought it would be the Meg, but it's actually a Megtopus, except none of us are surprised because you showed your hand earlier with this nonsense tease. Jonas must have heard the anger in my voice about those respawning harpoons and decided to throw one away. This is an intense and unnecessary position, and other complaints put forth by my college girlfriend. Max survives this. I mean, what the f does he think that would accomplish? That umbrella didn't skewer the octopus arm in place, nor was it ever going to. Nothing has changed here. You just kept Maying at risk for a few extra seconds and wasted an umbrella.
I won't be needing this.
Anymore?
See you later, chum.
Get it? Because chum means shark food and friend. Also, we have been way too okay with a psychopath being Mei Ying's primary caregiver. He just put down a gun so he could kick a man into a shark's mouth. That was the first option that came into this sick f***'s mind. I think she'd have to be better off with the Pilates f***er from the first movie. Whatever happened to him, huh? Throw me the bomb. Deus Ex Machina 2, the Ex Trenchina. I know this fight is the main event, but if these assholes weren't fighting below the thermocline, why are they doing it here and now at Fun Island, of all places? At what point are we going to acknowledge that Jonas is the apex predator? In the next one, the sharks need to be afraid of him for it to be even a little believable. Taking into account his position and the fact that a few of these shots missed the lizard thing, DJ is very lucky that he isn't spending the Meg 3 in prison for multiple manslaughters. This works. Or it doesn't work, and he just got lucky. I don't fucking care. Why is the movie still going?
You two are ridiculous.
But I love you anyway.
This movie makes me wish I'd been eaten by the shark.
From this moment on, you will now be known as Shark Bait.
Shark Bait!
One click to come. 2 clicks to go.
Your mum loved this place more than anything.
I'm glad I finally get to see it.
Even you.
They're here to mate. That's why Haichi has been acting strangely.
Those are Megan's.
It's 3 kilometers. You'll be defenseless out there.
Well, I'll make a habit of doing things that people say I can't do. Walk through fire, water ski blindfolded, take up piano at a late age.
Regus! Do it!
Come on! Do it now! Kill me!
I thought about you every single day. You don't even remember me, do you?
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Spun says a sub.
Wet sandwich?
Yeah, a wet sandwich.
I was also thinking...
Cookie! Nom 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 nom.
You have to save them!
Shut up, Meg.
Enemy territory up ahead. Feet dry in 60 seconds. Comanche, Dagger 1, picture.
You serious?